Hello everybody. So for this class, we'll be talking about for loops. So let me give you an instance. Let's say you want to print out something multiple times. Let's say I give you a task to print out hello world 20 times. One way to do it is system.out.println hello world, and you just keep copying. You see, this will take our time, Let's imagine I gave it to print this like 500 times. So you have to keep copying and copying and copying and copying. So there's a simpler way to do this, and that is by using a for loop. So for loop is like a way to iterate over a certain amount of variables. So you go over a certain amount of variables using a for loop. So the syntax for loop in Java is as follows. So we have the for statement, for. Then for loop, inside the bracket, it has three main parts. First of all, we initialize the variable. So how to initialize the variable? So int I equals to 0. So, and you put your semicolon. So this variable is executed when you start running the for loop. So this is an initialization of the variable. So after that, you have to have a condition. So like remember for that conditionals, that the last conditional class course, a condition is something that returns true or false value. So you're basically telling the loop that if this is true, keep running. So let's say if I is less than 10, so this is a condition. So the third part is you tell the loop how you want this variable to be incremented, whether you want it to go up or come down. So we want our value to go from 0 to 10. So one way to do that is always add 1 at the end of it. So you can always do I is equals to I plus 1. So this works. This will work fine, very fine. Or we can do I plus plus, shorter form. So I plus plus means you're adding 1 every time the loop runs. So every time the loop runs, you always add 1 value and run the next iteration. So do this. So let's carry out our task earlier. Let's print hello world. This time around, put in 10 times. So let's say hello world. So let's run this. Okay, you see, it prints out hello world 10 times. You can count this to be 10. Yeah. So this is basically the use of loop and for loops. So instead of printing everything line by line, one after the other, you just use a for loop to print everything at once. So to go over it again, a for loop has 3 parts. The first part, you initialize a variable. Then the second part, you give it a condition. Then the third part, you tell the for loop how you want that value to be increasing. So let's say I give you a task, for instance, on how to printing out even numbers from, let's say, 0 to 20. So if you want to carry out that task, so you can just like quickly pause your video and try it out yourself if you can do it. 5, 4, okay. So if you can do it, fine, but if you can't, no problem, we're all learning. So if you want to print out even numbers from 0 to 20, You just do this system.out.println print I. Yes, you're going to print the I. But now, here, why we are initializing the variable fine as 0, and we need to print from 0 to 20. If we say I less than 20, it's not include 20 because 20 is not less than 20. They are the same thing. So we can do less than or equal to. I talked about relational operators in conditionals. So I less than equals to 20. So when it goes over this, then it will stop the loop. So the next one is how we're incrementing our values. We're printing even numbers. So even numbers is 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. So they are incrementing by 2, not 1 this time around. So instead of I plus plus, we can as well do I is equals to I plus 2. So this will give us even numbers. Or we can do sorry, my laptop is having some issues. So we can also do, sorry about that, I plus equals to 2. So this will also add 2 to I after every iteration. So on every iteration, it keeps on adding 2 to I. So when we run this, to print even numbers from 0 to 20. So you can try this out on your own, try out different types of tags and everything. So instead of running a particular block of code multiple times, you can use a for loop to save us time and save us stress. So thank you. Bye.